Hey VV Nation, welcome to the channel. My name is Glenn, Senior Stock Market Strategist for VectorVest. So we all know that tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to get earnings report from NVIDIA. If you remember the last video I did prior to earnings, I predicted that they were going to go up 40%, or actually 30% or more. Well, guess what? Since the last earnings, it's up about 40%. So if you haven't watched that video, click here after this video and you can go see that video. It got a lot of views and see how we got to that point. It wasn't easy. It's a lot of looking at the news, looking at analytics to get the answer. And we're going to do it again this week. All right. So earnings comes up tomorrow. It's the big story out there for everybody. And let's get into the story. There it is. NVIDIA is the talk of the town at AI events leading into this week's earnings. How about this? Those companies and others are spending so much on NVIDIA chips that year over year revenue growth is expected to top 200% for a third straight period. We all know that AI is the big news and NVIDIA is a big leader in the space. So you want to know what I think the stock is going to do? Well, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you what I think the stock will go up to, and I'll give you a target price. So I went through and I looked at a lot of the things that are coming up. NVIDIA, it's got a market cap of 2.3 trillion. It's a huge company. And that's the number one earnings coming out again for tomorrow. So then I wanted to look from a forecasting perspective, what other people are looking at. So I'm looking at market beat, moderate buy. It's got a price target of $1,000, which is about a 6.9 almost 7% upside. Then I looked some more and looking at a different website, they're in the same ballpark, about 1,057 for 11% upside. But how about this? Some analysts are predicting all the way up to $1,400. The all-time high on the stock is sitting at about $970 on the trade. So again, I am going to give you what I think what my price target is, and we're going to go into the program, and from the program, we're going to look at NVIDIA and its competition. So NVIDIA, Google, SMCI, Meta, Broadcom, Micron, AMD, TSMC, Microsoft, Apple. I told you all about Apple. Apple's on the move. So these are the big competitors for NVIDIA, but by way of looking at analysis, it's got the top VST stock. It's a fundamentally sound stock. Yes, it's overvalued. Alphabet, Google is a little bit undervalued. SMCI overvalued. Meta undervalued. Broadcom overvalued on Micron, overvalued on AMD. And this plays a role in my prediction going forward for NVIDIA, because this space is so full and so much competition in the space. So I'm going to go to the portfolios real quick, and I want to go look at a portfolio that I have for the Magnificent Seven stocks. And, when I look at that, what's the number one winner in the Magnificent Seven stocks by ROI? NVIDIA. Again, number one in the space, and everybody and their mama is trying to get on board in the AI space. But look at that. Since we've been tracking it since the beginning of the year, 96% up. Now, you'll sit back and you'll say to yourself, can it continue to go higher? I think that the AI space is strong enough and has enough room for stocks in this space to continue to go higher. So now when I look at the competition and I look at what's going on with NVIDIA in the Magnificent Seven stocks, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about a lot of collaborations that NVIDIA has. They have their hands in a lot of different things. So they've got partnerships with TSMC for chips, Boyd for EVs, CDW for healthcare, Microsoft for supercomputing, Google for the cloud, SAP for generative AI and cloud, SoundHound for music, Adobe for content creation, ARM for processors and infrastructure, just to name a few. So when I look at NVIDIA and I look at where they have their hands in some of everything, it shows me that it is not only a leader in this space, but it's a strong leader putting their hands in everything out there, AI. And if AI is such a leader right now, it is not a fly-by-night thing. It is a leading industry and everybody wants to get on board, but NVIDIA is a strong leader in that space. All right, so let's go back to my viewers and let's go look at the competition. These are all the competitions. NVIDIA is at the top of the list. And well, you know me, I like earnings growth and I like sales growth. Look at that. All right, so when I look at earnings growth, which is the engine that drives the stock's price higher, the sales, they are selling stuff. That helps to substantiate the earnings. The other big company like this that has a big win as far as sales compared to earnings growth is SMCI, another powerhouse stock in the space, but NVIDIA is still the leader overall. Let's graph all of these, and we're going to graph them with the new graph that I have called my earnings graph. Put this on a 3-month graph where I look at from an analysis standpoint, helping me make a decision on what's going on with the stock and where it could potentially go. Rising relative safety, that's an indicator of a stock's ability to meet or exceed earnings expectations. Rising earnings growth, look at that. They are not growing, not only have good earnings, but they're rising. Earnings, sales growth, average volume. I'd like to see that higher as the stock bounced off support, moving to that all-time high of $970.83. All right, let's go look at the other ones real quick. There's Google, all right, and I'm going to put earnings on as well. After earnings with Google, what did the stock's price do? Go up. After earnings with NVIDIA, the stock pulled back to that level of support, but still higher than it was when earnings was reported. Same thing with SMCI. After earnings, higher than earnings. And this is the competition, folks. Looking at Meta, higher than after earnings was reported. Earnings higher, that's AVGO, higher than after earnings was reported. Now, were all of these stocks smooth sailing? No. But are they all higher than they were from their previous earnings? Yes. Why? Because the AI space is dominating overall. TSMC earnings, look at the stock's price. And this is just historically looking at all of the stocks in the space and what have they all have done. AI is proving to be moving these stocks. Apple, you know I love me some Apple, but man, is it moving right now? But I told you that Apple had some stuff going on in the background, and I talked about it in yesterday's live stream as well. If you didn't watch that, please go back and watch that as well. There was a story on that as well. Now, specifically for NVIDIA, I'm going to go view the stock graph, and I'm going to change the stock graph because now I'm going to talk about how to manage this trade. And I'm going to change the graph layout to Star Search. And I want you to see, look at the movement coming out of the slow lane in Star Search, getting nicely up. Look at the nice trend coming into earnings in the fast lane, still in the fast lane today, and not at the height of the most recent Bollinger Band on the outside, but love the upward move. And I think there's a lot of anticipation that NVIDIA will meet and beat earnings and revenues. All right, so with all of that being said, after earnings comes out, if you're in the stock, leave it alone. I personally own NVDL, and I'm gonna be ready. I think that earnings is going to do well. Now, the bad thing, there's only one thing that could stop this all. Forward guidance. Now, I'm not in the inner circle of what's going on in the NVIDIA stock. I don't know what the forward guidance is, and I've been trying to rack my brain as to what can be said from a forward guidance perspective that could pull the stock price down. They're making money, they're growing in their earnings, they're putting out the products, they have their hands into everything AI. I don't know what could possibly go wrong to give bad forward guidance. Anything can happen. And if they give bad forward guidance, everything that I just talked about is out the window. I'm looking at it from a surface level that they are going to beat earnings. They're going to beat revenues. They are high market cap stock, and they are pulling up a lot of other companies as well. So with that being said, I am going to give a prediction of $1,100, which is a 16% gain. That's my target. $1,100, again, which equates out to a 16% gain from this earnings, and we'll see what goes on from there. So Again, it's analysis, it's the news, it's the insight that I'm bringing to the table in regards to earnings for NVIDIA coming into tomorrow's close when they report earnings. Folks, if you think that it can beat that price of $1,100, type in the word beat. If you don't think that it's going to beat that high, type in the word or type in where you think the target should be on NVIDIA based on everything that I just laid out for you. Remember, it's not etched in stone what I said. This is my insight. If you're brand new to the channel and you like this analysis, make sure you hit the subscribe button to become a part of VV Nation. Hit the bell icon so that you'll be alerted to when videos like this come out. If you like the content, if you like the video today, don't forget to hit the like button. If you got a comment about what I talked about, make sure you put it in the comment as well. Folks, I love bringing these videos to your attention. We do the work, you reap the rewards. And before you invest, check VectorVest. Folks, this video is over. Until the next time, see ya.